Well, hello, my loves. It's Irene Lidvall here again, and welcome back to the final episode of the Re-Invention Series. Now, if you've been with me through episode 1 and 2, you know we walked through some really big terrain together. We talked about endings, grief, and identity loss, and about rebuilding after life falls apart, or simply when life no longer fits you. But today we are talking about the rise. There is a big shift. This is where you stop, because this is where you stop looking backward. This is where you stop asking, why did this happen? And this is where you stop living from survival. And this is where you begin to rise into the woman you are always meant to become. Because this is the chapter where you become unstuck and fucking fabulous. And yes, I said it. Because I want this episode to feel powerful. I want it to feel alive. I want something inside you to wake up. I want to shake you into the woman you are supposed to be. Because I know something about women, especially women over 40. So many of us become smaller with time. Smaller in our voices, desires, expectations, and what we ask for. And how much space we take up. Now, hello, stop it. Because you don't need to be more careful or more accommodating or more reasonable or more practical, because you already are. And somewhere along the way, we confuse shrinking with maturity. Hello, we call it wisdom, right? We call it sacrifice. And we call it, oh, I'm just so realistic. I live in real time. But let me tell you something, darling. Shrinking is not wisdom. Abandoning yourself is not maturity. It's horrible. You do this to yourself. Why? And settling is not peace. You are not put on this earth to slowly disappear. No. You were not meant to spend your life managing disappointment, especially not other people's disappointment. And you are not meant to keep lowering the bar to avoid being hurt. And what happens when you do that? You do get hurt. So, you are here. You are here, my darling, to live fully. You were born to be a superb human being who love deeply, who create boldly, and who should become wildly honest about what she wants and stop apologizing for it. So today, my darling, we rise. We rise in standards, self-respect, and in power. And also in vision and truth. And most importantly, we rise in identity, because your life will only rise to the level of the woman you believe yourself to be. Now let that sink in. I'm not talking about goals or vision boards or plans. I'm talking about your identity, who you believe you are. That determines everything. Absolutely everything. It determines how you love, lead, earn, speak, and tolerate, and how you choose. Everything. And this is why reinvention is not about fixing yourself. It's about remembering who you are. And that is the truth. You don't need fixing. You need to remember. Remembering your strength, power, your standards, and your worth. Remembering the woman underneath all the shitty conditioning, disappointment, heartbreak, fear, and survival. Yes, I'm talking about all that crappy stuff. She is still there. She's still underneath it all. And she's always been there. Maybe she's gotten quieter, or maybe she's just buried under a lot of crap. But she's not gone. And the rise begins the moment you decide. You decide, I'm done shrinking. No more. No more playing small to make other people comfortable, okay? Absolutely not. And honey, please stop over explaining and don't apologize for your needs. Are your needs met? Hmm? I doubt it. No more waiting for permission. You're not a little child. You don't need permission from anyone. You give the permission to yourself. And no more pretending things are okay when they are not okay. Now I start sounding like your mother, don't I? But I don't want you to abandoning yourself anymore, because this is where it all changes. And one of the biggest way it does change is the big B word. It is boundaries. I know I've been harping on about boundaries before. If you've been listening to my podcast, you know I really like to talk about boundaries. And I want you to install boundaries in your life. So let's talk about boundaries again. Because women have a complicated relationship with boundaries. And you're not alone there, trust me. Because we think that boundaries are harsh or mean, or maybe it pushes people away. But boundaries are not punishments. Boundaries are self-respect. And I say that again, boundaries are self-respect. And why am I saying this? Because boundaries actually teaches people how to treat you. Because if you allow them to push you around, that's what they will do. But if you have boundaries, they can't do that. And boundaries also protect your peace, and it preserves your energy. And it also stops leaking power. Because every time you say yes when you really mean no, you lose energy. And every time you tolerate behavior that violates your values, you lose energy. And every time you betray yourself to keep the peace, yep, you lose energy. And eventually, the big R word, you feel resentful. And that is an awful place to be for you and for them, because it's exhausted and disconnected. And not because life is too hard, but because you are overgiving when boundaries are required. So listen carefully. Your future will be built by what you allow other people to do to you, not by what you say you want, but what you allow. So ask yourself, what am I tolerating? Where am I saying yes when I should say no? And where am I making excuses? And where am I settling? That question alone can change your entire life, because standards are not just preferences. Standards are decisions. And you know what decision means? It means cutting off. Standards say, this is what I accept, and this is what I no longer accept, and this is who I am now. Standards in love, business, and friendship, and in health, and in self-talk. Everything changes when your standards rise. And here's what happens when you raise them. Some people will not like it. Absolutely not. They might get angry and they might abandon you, and you might feel crappy about that. But you know what? In war, it's about who is shooting first to survive. It's you or them. And you should apply this here too, because it's all about you. It's not about them. So, like they say in an aircraft, put the oxygen mask on you first so you can help the person next to you or the child. Because if you don't, you become a victim and you can't help anyone. So please do yourself that favor. Look after yourself first, even if they don't like it. And I promise you, they won't. Because your old identity actually benefited them. many times. And the version of you that overgave and overexplained and overaccommodated, that version, she was so easy to control. But hey, this new version of you, she's grounded, she's clear, she's self-led and powerful. And no, she doesn't need to dominate. She doesn't need to prove anything. She simply knows who she is. And yes, it will fluctuate. You will go back to your old patterns, but come back to this. And with practice, you will become the master. And that energy will change everything for you. So now let's talk about something deeply important. Even more important than boundaries, really, is financial independence. And I know a girl, Veronica, also called V. And V is a perfect example of becoming financially independent and becoming the woman she was always meant to be. And if you have time, I would like you to look her up and see what she has done with her life, because she is a woman I admire, because she's gone through a lot of crap like most of us have when we get a little bit older. But anyhow, why I'm talking about financial independence, it's because she has become an expert on this. And she could also help you out if you are looking for something to do. Because every woman needs financial power. I'm going to be really direct with you because this matters really big time. And I don't care if you're married, single, or partnered, divorced, or retired. You need financial capability. You need options, because money is not just money. Money creates choices. Money creates freedom. Money creates dignity. And when women don't feel financially secure, do you know what they do? They stay. They stay in shitty relationships they have outgrown. They stay in an environment that drains them. And they stuck because leaving feels impossible. And I don't want that for you. I want you to be powerful. I want you to be resourceful. I want you to be capable. And I want you knowing if you need to pivot, you can. And if you need to rebuild, you can. If life changes, you can handle it. That changes everything massively. Because financial independence isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming secure. And security creates confidence. Confidence creates better decisions. And better decisions create better lives and less resentment. This all matters. Because now I want to speak to the woman listening who thinks, maybe it's too late. Maybe I missed my chance. And maybe reinvention is for younger women. Well, no, it's not. Absolutely not. You're wrong. I reject that. Absolutely. It's not too late at 40, 50, 60, and certainly not after 70, because 70 today is the new 50s. And I need you to hear me. You are not behind, because you are becoming who you are supposed to be. And you are not, definitely not finished, because you are evolving. And some of the most extraordinary women I know became powerful later in life. Not earlier, but later. Because age brings clarity and discernment, depth and strength. You stop caring so much about fitting in or what other people think about you. And you stop wasting time. And you start valuing truth. Now that is powerful. You don't need youth, but you need courage. Yes, spades of it. And with that, you need a vision, and you need standards, and you need a belief that you can do it. That's it, right? Easy? Easy peasy. No, it's not. It's bloody hard, but you know what? One step at a time. So let me ask you something. Who is the woman that you admire? Really think about her. Think about how she moves, thinks, and speaks, and how does she love? And how does she lead? How does she dress? And how does she handle disappointment? What does she no longer tolerate? Because here's the truth, my darling. The woman you admire is showing you something. She reflects qualities already available to you. You admire her because part of you recognizes her. And that means she is possible. Now, here's the next question. What would your future self tell you right now? What would she say to you? Well, I think she might say something like, stop waiting, stop doubting, stop shrinking, and stop abandoning yourself, and stop making excuses for what you know. Trust yourself, raise your standards, tell the truth, choose courage, move, and become her. Not tomorrow, but now. Now, I think I have sounded like your mother here quite a lot today, but somebody's got to tell you, because the rise doesn't happen someday. It happens in moments of courage and moments of truth and moments of self-respect. And I am sure that all our mothers would love to tell us this, and they want to see that for us, because they want to see moments where we chose differently. That is how reinvention happens, because every mother wants their child to succeed, and we are all children of our mothers. And they know that, yes, we can take leaps, but let's do smaller steps. Do one step at a time, but in a powerful daily choices. And one day you will realize you are no longer the woman who was scared to choose herself, because you have become her. The woman you admired, you are now her. The woman you respect, the woman you trust, and the woman who no longer waits for permission. Because you are the woman that knows. And that is the rise. And I want to leave you with this. You do not need another year of overthinking. You do not need another year of waiting. And you do not need another year of almost. Your next chapter is available, but it requires something from you. Courage, truth, and decision. And what did I say decision means? It means cutting off. So if something in this series has spoken to you, if you know you're done playing small, if you're ready for the next chapter, and if you want a personal invitation into something very special, it's the Brave Room. The Brave Room is my private mastermind, an intimate room for women who are ready to rise, women who are done with excuses, done shrinking, done with doing life alone. This is for women who wants to be part of something, and a woman who knows something big is shifting. She can feel it. She knows she is outgrown old identities, old patterns, and old limitations. And she's ready to support a completely different level. Because inside the Brave Room, we work deeply on identity, standards, mindset, business, power, self-trust, vision, and the woman you are becoming. Now, this is not for everyone, and that's intentional. This is a very small, intimate group, but a powerful group, high level and deeply transformational, because the right room, my darling, changes everything. And sometimes one conversation changes everything. And sometimes one decision changes everything. And maybe this is yours. So if you feel called, come and join me. I would love to support you. And until next time, remember this: reinvention isn't about fixing yourself. It is about remembering who you are. And my love, you are far more powerful than you think. Now have a wonderful weekend, and I will put a link in below this episode where you can join the Brave Room, and maybe one day we can get Veronica to come on as a guest and talk about financial independence. So have a wonderful weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.